Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Matchbook Horse Racing podcast where we've got some flat and jumps action to preview. The final day, well, it's not quite the final day. I guess it's the final good day of the Punchestown Festival with Friday. And so that's where we're going to kick things off. And then we're going to move on to Saturday's flat action at Newmarket and plenty more besides as well if we've got bets elsewhere. That's Charlie Poste, Micheál Deasy and me, Tom Stanley. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy our content. Best no-cost way of supporting this podcast, and it helps you as well. A reminder about the Bet 50, Get 50 and free bets offer. That's POD50, capital letters POD50. That's the bonus code to use. You can get 50 quid in free bets. And there's a £5 money back as a free bet treble, which I've slightly ruined as the best bets, I've just realised, because I've gone for the same race as Charlie. I will probably try and change that, but I'll explain it later on as well. But it's for new and existing customers, £5 money back as a free bet, best bet treble. If it doesn't cop, you get your money back. So there we are. We'll save that till the end. Right, let's get stuck into Punchestown first of all. DC, you've had some wins, you've had some crossbars as well. How are you going to try and finish up Punchestown?
Continuing with the wins and crossbars, hopefully more wins possible. I've only one bet, I think, for Friday, and it is Mr. Percy in the 605, the champion novice hurdle over 2.5 miles. He beat a horse I tipped yesterday, Florida Parker, on a cracker over 3 miles. But Mr. Percy beat him a few weeks ago at Fairy House. He was out good bit there before Christmas. He actually had a few runs on the flat for going over hurdles at Gordon Park, and he has been in the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times from his last 8 runs. I think the only time he had seeded rider one time, and then he finished kind of middle of the pack in a big handicap at Christmas. But he's a very big price. Just the way he finished off his race there last day, look, he absolutely flew home. They put a headgear on him for the first time. That's retained today. He's 15.0, probably a bit under the radar. And like you have the yellow clay there at the top of the market. Yellow clay and Final Demand are making the market for a nice win place bet. I can see him going off a good bit shorter. Mr. Percy in the 605 Punchestown.
I know you've got one at Newmarket as well. We're going to save that for other weekend bets if we can. I'm going to put it in the document for you now. So we'll save that for them. We'll stick on Punchestown here, where I'm going to put up the yellow clay in that contest. I thought he and Final Demand were a bit close in the market. Like I thought he beat. Basically, my theory with Final Demand, I think he wants further. I think he obviously stayed further and ran really well at the DRF.
Yeah.
They were both beaten by the better horse on the day in the New Lion at Cheltenham. But I kept you away from that, just thinking Final Demand wants further. And I thought the yellow clay was beaten on stamina by Dan Skelton's horse, the New Lion. So 2.62, 2.8, I think it is. I think the yellow clay should be clear of Final Demand there. I know there's the Mullins factor at Punchestown, and Gordon's was not run a huge amount of top horses this week, but just purely on that effort at Cheltenham, I think the yellow clay should be a clearer favourite, 2.62. The other one I want to back is Western Diego in the 5.25 at Punchestown, that handicap chase. He's a funny fish because he was really disappointing at Ayr. I think what he wants is further than Ayr, which he gets here, but the hood has to work and he needs to settle. So he's won it over this distance before. That was it, not in handicap company. I think it was a rated race. So I'm willing to forgive him that. But I think a handicap over this distance with the hood on is very much his bag. And he's gone down £4 since the Ayr run. So we don't have prices yet. He's going to be a price because the horse is in seemingly better form, but I think he should be in the mix here with the hood on back over 2.5. So Western Diego in the 5.25. Charlie, you're back with us. I'm really Dan Hussey has pointed out that Gordons aren't running terribly well on the chat. They're not the exact words he's used, but I agree. Rianne was second for me yesterday, though. That ran all right. Anyway, Charlie.
Let's be honest, Tom. Last week he told me on the private chat that I didn't have an effing clue.
He did.
And he'll let say, Tom, and Resplendent Grey proved otherwise, to be honest. So
Whoa, very good. He did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
go
so
on, right.
That's why he's the producer and you're the
yeah, I know. I mean, we don't. I mean, and not a very good one at that, is he? You know, bloody.
He also books you. Right, go on.
Yeah,
go
that's
on,
a good
go on,
point.
Charlie.
Actually, he's amazing producer, one of the greats.
Can you start with Constitution Hill, please? I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, James Bowen up. I mean, Nico's a mate of mine, but change of rider, fresh approach, and that's not saying that Nico has done anything wrong, but it takes the pressure away from the scenario. Someone that to me is going out riding the horse is a free hit. He's been on the deck the last twice. Anything beyond that is a bonus, and you're going to get to back this horse at better than even money. Like that's never really been a possibility before. And he's state man to beat. I just think it's very, very obvious. That his two completed runs this year where he has got round, he's won as he always does, and he's had two crashes where, and especially at Aintree the last day, he looked to me like he was getting out of the pocket, coming to challenge. So I think he was 2.2 earlier on today. I thought that's huge, granted the company that he's in, and like I say, with a clear round, I think he just wins. So yeah, that's my take on Constitution Hill. And then the other one for Friday is Blizzard of Oz in the novice handicap chase. I mean, unsurprisingly, Willie has a seriously good record in this, and the horse had the 3 goes over fences. Form ties in with Cater Bourbon, Lecky Watson, and others. And then on his latest start, when he was 3rd, he finished just behind stablemate Lombron, who ran really well in the Bet365 the other day off 142. Blizzard of Oz was off 141 in this. And again, I mean, I actually haven't got prices up, Tom, so I couldn't get prices up. So I'm not sure what price he is, but I just thought he was another one with a massive chance at Punchestown on Friday.
I don't think we've got prices for that as yet, but we've both gone for one in it. All right, let's move on to Saturday then. So the 2,000 guineas, first of all. Currently, Field of Gold sitting on top of the betting at 2.6, Ruling Court 5.0, Expanded 5.5, 8.0, Scorthy Champ. I'll come to the bigger prices. We're swerving bang towards the top of the market. I've got a couple that I want on side. The reasons being, I think Field of Gold is proper short now based upon that win last time. It's really good. I think maybe I've got a Craven hangover. I think half the last Craven winner to go and win the Guineas. I don't know. He's not. I think he should be favourite, but he was always going to be a horse I was going to oppose. Also, slightly surprised, by the way, we've only got 11. I thought this is like an open Guinea. Where are they? It's mad. Yeah. I thought this was going to be a 16-17 runner field. Anyway, it's not. So I want to be against Field of Gold. I love Ruling Court as a horse. He's the only horse Charlie Appleby entered in the Derby, and I think he's more that type. I think he's probably the best horse in the race. I don't know if he's just absolutely sharp enough for a Guineas as a horse. So I think he might end up wanting a little bit further. I'm a massive fan of the horse, though. Expanded, I mean, he's sort of the price he is by default because he's Aidan O'Brien's only runner. But I mean, I think there are 3 or 4 ahead of him in the pecking order, or certainly 2 or 3. He's not necessarily for me. And then you get to this sort of into the bigger prices. Scorthy Champ. Why is this horse 8.0? The Henry Matisse form is rock solid. He's got 2 bits of solid form with him. I think he's a miler. I mean, he's drawn 1, which weirdly has produced 2 winners in, I think, the last 8 years. I don't love it, but I just think on form he should be shorter. He's 8.0. He has to be onside. Sorry for going through all of them here. Shadow of Light is a horse who I thought I would end up tipping, and then William Buick hasn't chosen him. They've gone for a tongue tie first time. That puts me right off, but I wouldn't be surprised. The other one I want to back is Green Impact. Again, just on a last year's juvenile form working out, Delacroix has come out and won a key Derby trial this season, and he might be a horse for a bit further Green Impact, but that's looked like what they're doing with Hot as Hell. So they're running Green Impact here. Again, just on form, 15.0. I don't know why he's that sort of price. He's just a bit forgotten about. So Green Impact and Score the Champ are my 2 against the field. Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you're keen on Score the Champion. I mean, for all the reasons that you've said. I mean, again, the Guineas in recent times has a habit of it's not a great race for favourites. Often the better prospects longer term don't win this. Seems to be the scenario in recent years. And I just thought Score the Champ, as you said, with the Henri Matisse form in the national stakes, I love the way he kind of stuck his neck out. Looks a really straightforward horse, and because of his style of racing, difficult to know where the ceiling of his ability is. They've talked about that this was always going to be the target, and I just think he's going to be one that is ready to rock and roll. And as you said, I just don't understand why he's the price he is. As in, if you want to make me nervous slightly, the fact that he is the price he is, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I thought he'd be a lot shorter. He was the obvious one to me at the prices. For that matter, though, Tom, I wouldn't put anyone off Fields of Gold. I mean, I thought his Craven performance was very good. He looked like he's progressed massively from 2 to 3, but I just have no interest in backing him at that price. So he was immediately I was against him. And Score the Champ, I just thought was rock solid. And at 8.0, you can back him in the win and place markets if you want to.
Dees, you've got. I thought have you got 2 or 1?
I have 2.
2.
First one is expanded, and would have preferred the price to be a bit bigger, but I mean he's 5.5. I just think that it's actually, I can't believe how long it is since Aidan O'Brien has won. 2019 was the last time he won a 2,000 guineas, which seems mad. But look, he ran twice last year. He won first time out at the Curragh, and he was into the notebook after that, because he was like he ran so green. Coming into the final furlong, I think he was 5th, and all of a sudden it seems when he saw the horse gone past him, it kind of clicked, and he flew home one on the line. And then he was out a week later in the Dewhurst. I can't remember if he was supplemented for the Dewhurst or not. Aidan doesn't usually send his best juvenile to the Dewhurst. He sends him to the Futurity, one of the Racing Post Trophy one in Doncaster that had his head one, where Delacroix actually won. But again, look, he just ran very green. He was beaten by Shadow of Light that day, who was just after coming from the Middle Park. Again, very green, was money beaten the neck. Shadow of Light kind of ran all over the course as well that day. But I just thought that this horse could be probably a lot better than they expected. He went off a big price that day. That he's pulled a few out, but you have to respect one of his runners in the Guineas, and look, he's really bred to work with Basses for an unbelievable year last year. So I'll have a small little win bet on him. And the other one, I thought, crazy price, Wimbledon Hawkeye. He's about, you get about 21.0 on him now. If you just look back through his form, he was quite busy last year. He ran 6 times last year, but every single race he ran, he was, he won twice, second and third twice, but he was always running at the top table, and he only had to go a mile at the end of the season. He won at Newmarket, beating Royal Playwright, which I think is a decent horse. Ran up at the pace, and again, look, I had to say, beat him in the Future of Doncaster, but that was soft ground. I think that was quite slow ground. I don't think he liked that, and even still, he stayed on. He was 5th at one stage, and he kept going at the 3rd. His run the last day behind Field of Goal, look, he was well beaten, but he finished ahead of good horses there like New Century, Emory City. It's really a price thing. I don't think that he should be that big a price. You're only going to get him to 3 places, but look, I mean, if he's 21.0 to win, you could be getting close to 4.0, 4.5 for a place. He mightn't be supported. I think he's a rock solid horse. Again, like, he's very well bred. Maybe it's just that he's trained by James Owen. If he was a good Alphen horse or a Aidan O'Brien horse, he'd be a lot shorter. So as for a win place play, it'll be Wimbledon Hawkeye.
Lovely stuff. That's 2 for Dees in the 2,000 guineas. Moving back in the day, but to one of the big handicaps. This is the 145, 6 furlong handicap. And we're all towards the top. So you got More Thunder 4.0, Woodhay Wonder 5.5, Pace Angle, Aram Ram 7.5 pace angle. Charlie, you can make the case first of all for yours.
Yeah, more Thunder for me. I mean, first start for the Haggish Yard when he won tidily over course and distance. At the Craven, he'd previously been with Sir Michael Stout, and they've been trying to stretch his horse out. He'd been running over a mile, 9 furlongs. I mean, the drop back in trip looked an inspired move. I thought he took a little while to adapt early on in the race, and then once he got out and got rolling, he was very, very strong at the line. He started off a relatively lowly mark, and the £5 rise that he got for that win, I think might really underestimate the ceiling of his ability. I mean, the one thing I suppose you have to factor in at the Craven was that the ground did change. They had significant rain overnight, and I think it went from good to firm to slightly on the slow side of good. So I suppose you've got to prove that he can handle this drop back in trip on quicker ground as effectively as he did last time on slower. But I don't see any reason from his previous form or pedigree why he shouldn't be capable of doing that. And he could just be really a horse to follow that could have a massive amount in hand now he's been dropped back to sprint trips. And yeah, I thought 4.0, yes, it's short in a competitive race, but with respect to connections, yeah, I thought he was really obvious and very, very interesting.
DC.
We've actually put up the front three from that race of More Thunder, so maybe do a tri-cast if you can of these. I'm going for Woodhay Wonder. He was given More Thunder, I think, nearly a stone the last day, and he was given Amaram about 9 pounds. So he's a better pull at the weights this time. And my thinking is that, look, he tried to make the run in the last time. He was picked up by More Thunder, who came from the back. That happened a few times that day. There was a few. It didn't really suit front runners that day. It's going to be better ground today. He started off the season very well last year. He won twice over the Rolling Mile. I think that maybe that could have sharpened him up a small bit. And again, look, he's now on the top of the market. He's not a big price, but I thought 5.5 was fair enough for him, and he's not going to be far away.
Sorry, Charlie. My take on the race was to be dead against More Thunder at the top of the market and look for a bigger price. And that was Aram Ram at 7.5. I did like Woodhay Wonder as a pace angle as well, but he's a lot higher than when he won the race last year. My feeling is that more often than not at the Rolling Mile, that's what it's called, the pace holds up so well, and it just didn't that day. It was weird. The pace just melted in most of the races, and I'm not sure why. The ground was definitely softer on times than advertised, and I thought it played to More Thunder's into More Thunder's hands, and obviously came from off the pace as a strong stayer at the chip. And I'm just expecting pace to hold up way better this time, and I don't think he'll get away with doing what he did last time. So that was my starting point for the race. I might be completely wrong, and if pace isn't holding on the track, then DC and I are absolutely stuffed. So Aram Ram 7.5. The all-weather form's working out, and he obviously was passed quite comfortably late on, but there was a point where I thought he was going to go and win the race, and I definitely want to have another go at him at 7.5. Moving on to the the Suffolk Stakes. There you go. You two are in agreement with Hand of God. DC, you can kick off.
Yeah. I suppose the first thing that drew me to him was that Harley Charlton is in unbelievable form. 4 of his last 6 winners have won. That's this week. So the horses are flying. This horse was last seen at Ascot last year, winning the Golden Gate Stakes. Well punted on the day. And again, he was well on top of the line. He won by a length of 3/4. I think it was a bit of a handicap lot there off 91. He's at a big raise there now. He's running off 102. But he was put away after that. He's been gelded. I'd say even running off this rating, I'd say there's plenty more to come from him. He's quite unexposed. Yeah, I know he's a sharp price, but I'd say he should be good enough to win this easily at around 4.0.
Charlie.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Dee says. I think this horse could be a potential group horse. As he said, gelded over the winter. Loads more surely to come. He's very unexposed, and chuck in the fact that I'm pretty sure Ryan Moore's booked. I think Ryan Moore is five wins from 10 rides from the yard, 50% strike rate. They only tend to use him when they think one is very, very strongly fancied, and that's another positive.
Approval for me, who is probably going to go forward. Obviously, that Ascot race, Hand of God, came from off it and beat Approval comfortably when Approval went forward. But that's not a track where it's all that easy to do, whereas this is. So I think Approval will go forward. He finished up his season really well, and Hand of God, I'd be worried if he's handy, and he tends to be, but he wasn't at Ascot, although he was probably drawn. I think he was drawn wide that day. Obviously, I fear him, but I thought Approval might just have the run of things. And if Hand of God is patiently ridden, as was the case at Ascot, then again, it's just a track angle. I don't think this will necessarily suit. I think he's probably the best treated in the race, but I'll have Approval at 5.5. Palace House next. I'll kick off with 7 questions. So I put the horse up to win the race last year. Which is another fine bit of after timing, but the reason is relevant and he has to be fresh. He ran in Dubai last year, fresh, ran really well, didn't back it up. He then came here off 2 months off and won this fresh, and then never backed it up again, having run consistently. I mean, and George Scott after the race said maybe he does have to be fresh, but they were obviously tempted to run him, and they kept on running him. So he's here for a new yard. He's fresh, obviously a master sprint trainer in Robert Cowell, but the angle is 10.0. He has to be fresh, and he is here. So I don't want to leave him unbacked. I mean, that said, I could have 3 or 4 on side. So it's not a really confident shout, but it's just a small win and place bet because he's had a bit of time off, and I think he has to be supported. Charlie.
Yeah, I echo that shout as well. He was my sort of second choice. I think he is really interesting for Robert Cowell, if I'm honest. But I just wondered first start to the yard whether he's obviously not straightforward, whether he might take a bit of knowing, but I think he is a really, really good price at 10.0. I came down with Washington Heights. Again, Kevin Ryan, their team are in really good form at the moment. The horse struck at the Craven meeting last year, but over 6, but he is effective back at 5. He has really good form on the Rolling Mile, like I think 3 starts, 1 win and 2 places. And he's had a run as well overseas in February. So he comes there with a run under his belt, which I think is a big advantage at this time of year. And at 7.0, I just thought he was a horse that there was a bit of value about him. And for all that, I think this is a really trappy contest, probably the race that I'm most lukewarm about.
Yes, snap. Dees, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm very lukewarm as well about Tropical Storm. Andrew Balding's horse down the bottom. Now he's getting weight allowance for being a 3-year-old, and I've had a look back through the last 3 years. And last year there was 2 3-year-olds, and they came first and third. And then the next horse then that won as a 3-year-old, the man was Sergei Prokofiev in 2019. So it's not a race that they try too often with 3-year-olds. He had a decent juvenile season. He finished second to shareholder at Royal Ascot. He won it at York. Just a good solid horse. The fact that they're throwing him in here probably means that he has a chance. But Andrew Balding started the season so well. Every horse he was running seemed to be winning. Slowed down a small, but he's still got a lot of second and thirds. I don't think it's that bad. I think that they've kind of just given him a bit more time. He's a young horse. He's 8.0. I would almost be inclined if at that price, or if you just maybe to go win place, have a small bit of place money to cover your win bet. But I can see him running well in this against some of the other horses.
All right, that's the Palace House done. So we move to Sunday in the 1,000 guineas. I know one of these is going to be your best bet, Dees, but you need to change it if you can to a Saturday selection so we can get that money back treble offer up. Okay. So I'll let you go. I'll let you go last here and then make your case for the best bet of the weekend because it's one of these. I'll kick off for the 1,000. Chantilly Lace for Rafe Beckett. She's my horse to follow this year. At Salisbury, when she won on debut, it was a meeting where Rafe has run and won with Blue Stocking and another really good filly he trained. Why can't I remember her name? Anyway, there you go. I said it loads on the day and I've forgotten, but another really good Group 1 winning filly in consecutive years. It's a meeting at Salisbury. He targets with his best sort of but later juveniles. Now, she was very good when winning. It might not have looked much of a race. Comparatively, times-wise, she was very impressive compared to Rafe's other horse that won the opener. Just timing, times-wise, it was a good performance on the card. It was heavy ground, I know, so that's a slight concern coming here. But I'm sort of taking the angle she won despite the heavy ground. She's 26.0. Speaking to Rafe earlier on in the week about her, she is showing up very well at home. There's no pressure on the run. She needed to pass a key bit of work and do well in it to get here. She obviously did, because I think Ross has jocked up. She is possibly bred to be an Oaks filly, but he said what the stuff she's doing at home, she's a miler. So all of this, I think, is really encouraging. A once race filly who's just won a race like that, it's probably not going to go and win a 1,000 guineas, but I definitely want her on side at 26.0. Charlie.
Yeah, it's again, like, I think I've huge respect for the two at the top, Desert Flower and Lake Victoria, but it's just this first start of the season and whether they're completely wound up for these early targets. And for that reason, I came down with Duty First for Archie Watson. I think she 15.0. She was seriously impressive in the Fred Darling. Now, you can pick holes in the form. There are plenty of bigger priced horses filling the placings as well, but she was way too good for them. Over 7. Now she's got to stretch out to a mile, but talking to him, I know that he thinks that there's every chance that she will. She's had that run in the prep race. She probably isn't the best long-term prospect amongst this field, but I'm just hoping she could be the one for the here and now on Sunday. And, she'll get a positive ride. We know that for sure. And I think she's going to take a bit of passing and at 15.0, you're getting plenty of value in the price to see that happen. Now, if one of the very good ones guns her down, was so be it. But yeah, I think she's way too big after what she did in the trial. And for all that Archie Watson is an incredibly good trainer, Group 1 winning trainer, I do wonder if she was with slightly more fashionable connections in this sphere, she'd be a good bit shorter than she is.
Dees, thanks for reminding me. Remarque, very good. You've done that 15th in the 1,000 guineas you pointed out, but she ran shit in a trial. Anyway, this filly's better than that, he says. Go on, Dees. Who do you like? This is your best bet then. Go on. Sort of your official one.
There's only 15 in this 1,000 guineas as well, so easy enough to be better than that. My best, well, I'd change it now, but my best bet at the weekend is Lake Victoria. Because she was brilliant all last season. She started kind of halfway through the season. Her first run was in the Curragh in June. She won on the July course after that, and then won the Cheveley Park by 3 lengths. She's stepping up. This is her first quarter mile, but she's won 3 times over 7 furlongs. I just think single time she's won, she's been unbelievably impressive. Particularly in the Micheál, like she was kind of there was only 5 running it, but she wasn't really fancy at all. I think she was the second or third in from the O'Brien runners, and she absolutely flew home. I don't see why she wouldn't get a mile. She's out of Frankel by showcasing. I think she's a top class filly, and I don't really rate Desert Flowers form as much. Finished off the season. I know she won the Fillies Mile, which is generally the best trial for this, but she beat a horse called January there, who I don't think he would have been even near the top of Aidan's juvenile fillies. So I'm definitely going to take on Desert Flower at odds on, and I think Lake Victoria, look, again, she's a skinny enough price, but I think she's really, really good. And the other one, then again, just something at a bigger price. Flight for Ollie Sangster is in here at 34.0. Massive price. Again, look, she had 5 runs there last season. Finished second to Desert Flower twice, but both times she was within. At the first one, she was beaten by 3 1/4 lengths. That was on her second run, and then towards the end of Fillies Mile, she was only beaten by 2 1/4 lengths. That was the Mayhill Stakes at Doncaster. If you just take that, I mean, if she's finishing with a 2 1/4 lengths, Desert Flower on this, she's going to be very close to the front. I think she's way too big. Ollie Sangster has a few nice juvenile horses last year, and again, it's just a price thing. Oisin Murphy is booked as well. One of the best jockeys around. So again, at a big price, I'll have her for 3 to 4 places. There's a bigger field in this. Well, if hopefully to 15 turn up, we might get 4 places. We'll get 4 on Matchbook anyway. But at 34.0, I think Flight is well worth the bet as well.
Other weekend bets, Charlie. You've got one at Utoxeter.
Yeah, 7:30 at Utoxeter. Victory Club for Dan Skelton. Again, pretty obvious. Won a bumper for Dan before leaving. Had quite a few goes over hurdles, but returns to Dan for first start back for him off 86. Dan obviously needs to get a swift start and try and get plenty of money in the bank to lead Willie Mullins for as long as he can into the new jump season. And Victory Club I thought was pretty obvious. Probably the sort of horse that he'll do very well with through the summer, and it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up a multiple winner for the yard.
And your other one, Dees, is Newmarket Friday.
Yeah, it's Silver Knot in the Jockey Club Stakes over a mile and a half. But I think Silver Knot is probably a different level to these horses. He's in there at 2.5. I know he's a skinny enough price, but he's won a lot of big races. I would have thought he'd been odds on. So that was the main reason I put them up. And Charlie, I thought you'd have a lucky 15 or a lucky 31 or something for the Hunters Chase meeting at Cheltenham tonight. That's the only reason I wanted to be on the podcast, so we get the inside info from you.
Sorry, Dee. So I'll email you through all the info for that later on. Don't you worry, mate.
That's the chat.
Moving on to Match with Zero Long Shot goes live an hour before each race. Most likely to get best odds because there is no margin, there's no commission for a win bet. Only green impact for me in the 2,000 guineas. Charlie?
Duty first in the 1,000 guineas.
And DC?
And Mr. Percy in the 3 mile novice hurdle at Punchestown tomorrow.
You've got a lay. Incidentally, Alex said, "Would you lay the favourite in the guineas in the 2,000 field of gold?" Personally, no. But thanks for the question. I wouldn't be against. I just want to back something at a bigger price. Who's your lady?
Desert Flower in the 1,000 guineas.
Desert Flower in the 1,000. And best bets. Mine would be Aram Ram, but it can't be. But it would be. But I'm going Score the Champ, particularly at the prices in the 2,000 guineas. Charlie?
Well, because yours can't be, I suppose mine will have to be More Thunder, but obviously you're very anti that, so that's concerning for me.
It's not that he can't win, he just won't.
Is that not the same thing?
I like going head-to-head with you, Charlie, but the sad thing is we did it twice at Cheltenham and I came off second best both times, so there you go. I'm owed. Dees, your best bet.
Diego Maradona's favourite horse, Hand of God, the 220 at Newmarket.
Okay, good. Good luck tonight, Man United Spurs fans. None of us are confident.
Oh yeah.
Have a great rest of Punchestown and enjoy the first classics of the season. Have a good weekend. Bye.